All right, good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for your patience. This is our Borough Council Legislative Session, October 17th, 2024. I'm calling this meeting to order. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Mr. Secretary, please proceed with roll call, acknowledging that our esteemed mayor is away on travel.
Thank you, Madam President. President Moreau.
Present.
Vice President Roquelout.
Here.
Councilor Beatty.
Present.
Councilor Trueheart is away tonight. Councilor Trent.
Here.
Councilor Peets.
Present.
Councilor Johnson.
Peets. Present.
Sean Kilkenny, Solicitor. Nafis Nichols, Finance Director. Yolanda Hughes, Tax Collector, is not present. And we have Joe Viscuso from Pannoni Engineering. Madam, we have a quorum.
All right, thank you very much. Next, we will follow with our rules of decorum. Residents and taxpayers of the borough shall have the right to comment on matters before or matters of concern before council. Section 710.1 of the Sunshine Act. During the public participation segment of all regular and special meetings, all persons who wish to speak must sign in prior to speaking. The borough seeks to provide each person with a fair and equal opportunity to be heard. Therefore, council limits the time for public comment to 3 minutes. Profanity and obscenities shall not be permitted. Violators who transgress the decorum of a public meeting shall be ruled out of order and may be ejected from council chambers for repeated transgressions by order of the president. This is our Yeadon Borough resolution from 2020, and the number is 2020-003. Next up is our Citizens Forum. We are going to start with Hannah D'Alessandro Tonio.
At the last meeting, I noted that just because residents raise concerns does not mean that they are criticizing council or that council is ineffective. I also stated that council has a tendency to ridicule, attempt to publicly shame, and intentionally misrepresent what residents voicing concerns say in an effort to discredit them. That is inappropriate and reprehensible. And immediately after I left the podium, that is exactly what council did to me at the last meeting. She inappropriately and inaccurately characterized me as someone who is against the police, fully knowing that that is not true about me. For the last 3 years, I have worked tirelessly to effect change within this community. When former council president Sharon made Little Miss Juneteenth cry, I was the only resident that told Sharon her actions were wrong. I was the only resident who spoke up to Miss Juneteenth and told her that it was not about her, it was purely political. I was the only resident who spoke to her mom and said, please make sure she understands it's not about her. When I learned about an inappropriate and dangerous curb cut in front of a senior citizen's home on Angara Avenue, I added my voice to have that remediated. When the William Penn School District renovated Kerr Field and residents lost access to the track, my voice was instrumental in assisting the residents to regain access. A year ago, I informed the William Penn School District officials that the volume of the loudspeakers was an issue, and now it's being addressed. I made calls for reform with regards to the prison cell facilities here in Yeadon. I asked for the Civil Service Commission to be reconvened. When the former council leadership only wanted to hire part-time police officers, I called for hiring full-time officers. When the former council leadership wanted to rescind an offer made to Officer Pettyjohn, I said that that was wrong and that her offer should not be rescinded. I am offended and appalled that last week, as a result of identifying areas for improvement, I was verbally attacked by council and called someone who does not support the police in an attempt to place a target on my back. That is appalling behavior, and it's not becoming of a counselor. Last week, after I spoke, council president told the police chief, thank you for continuing to protect these people who are often ungrateful, implying that that is how she views me. She also said, the police did their job, clearly indicating implying that that's what I said, when that is not what I said. Just saying that there is room for improvement is different from saying that someone did not do their job. And clearly, the William Penn School District agreed with me because they have actually made changes. To the residents in this room and those that are watching on Zoom, if you hear inappropriate actions being taken by council, you need to speak up. I was the one that was targeted last week. It could very easily be you, a family member, or a friend. If you do not speak up, the inappropriate actions will never stop. There is never any justification when council is praising a borough employee to attack a resident when doing so. And I also want to note that I tried to address this. My preference would have been to address this last week when the comments were made, but I was not allowed, and that would have been my preference, to address it right then and there. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana.
My name is not Diana.
Elizabeth Aleknavage.
You sure read a lot of letters I didn't write down there in my name. But yes, Liz is short for Elizabeth. It is quite the hypocrisy that you would have a police officer remove a resident from these chambers for directly quoting what a police officer said to children of our neighborhood. Council has the responsibility to hear on the public record the words used by police officers in the line of duty when they address our children. It is the right of residents to hear the exact misconduct that took place without the nuances being swept under the rug using decorum as an excuse. If anyone finds those words too indelicate to be spoken, they need to direct their outrage at the officer who used them towards our children. If anyone threatened to beat us until we lost control of our bowels, we would call the police. What are we supposed to do when it was the police who did it? As I stated last week, the real concern is not that we have one bad apple. The real concern is other officers are supporting and defending this misconduct. How is that being investigated? How many officers in the Yeadon Police Department find threatening children and calling them vulgar profanities to be acceptable? When a resident came to file a complaint, an officer said with confidence, "We can do that." Remember when a high school student named Tori Monroe wanted to have a Black Lives Matter march through town? Remember how this council president and the former police chief supported her? Why is the council president now instead attacking the residents who speak out about this kind of misconduct? Why is council president supporting a police chief who is fostering a climate where his officers feel comfortable threatening Black children? When is council going to act on moral conviction instead of petty vendettas, personal agendas, and juvenile feelings?
Thank you, Elizabeth. We'll next move on to our meeting minutes. Consideration to approve the September 12th, 2024 caucus meeting minutes.
Madam President, may I put a motion on the floor for the consideration to approve the September 12th, 2024 caucus meeting minutes?
Second.
Having been moved and seconded on the question? Hearing none, can we proceed with the roll call vote?
President Monroe,
Yes.
Vice President Roadcloud,
Yes.
Councilor Beatty,
Yes.
Councilor Trent,
Yes.
Councilor Peets,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson.
Yes.
That vote is unanimous. The motion carries. Next up is consideration to approve the September 19th, 2024 legislative meeting minutes.
So moved. Second.
Having been moved and properly seconded on the question? Hearing none, can we proceed with our roll call vote?
President Monroe,
Yes.
Vice President Roadcloud,
Yes.
Councilor Beatty,
Yes.
Councilor Trent,
Yes.
Councilor Peets,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson.
Yes.
That vote is unanimous. The motion carries. Next up for consideration is our manager's report and consideration. Oh, I'm sorry. You got yours.
Yep. Thank you. Madam President, I'm seeking a motion to consider to approve Officer Joseph Houghton entering the Act 44 plan, which is the pension drop, effective October 1st, 2024.
Madam Chair,
Madam Vice President.
I make a motion to approve Officer Joseph Houghton entering the Act 44 plan pension drop participation effective October 1st, 2024.
Seconded.
Having been moved and seconded, considering that this is a personnel matter, we won't have any questions. So we'll move directly to a vote.
President Monroe,
Yes.
Vice President Roquel,
Yes.
Councilor Beatty, Councilor Trent, Councilor Pete,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson.
Yes.
That vote is unanimous. The motion carries. Next up for
Sorry. Seeking a motion to consider to approve Sergeant Anthony Johnson entering the Act 44 plan pension drop participation effective November 1st, 2024.
Madam Chair,
Madam Vice President.
I would like to make a motion to approve Sergeant Anthony Johnson entering the Act 44 plan pension drop participation effective November 1st, 2024.
Second.
Having been moved and seconded, considering this is a personnel matter, we won't have any questions. We'll move to the vote.
President Monroe,
Yes.
Vice President Roquel,
Yes.
Councilor Beatty, Councilor Trent,
Yes.
Councilor Pete,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson.
Yes.
That vote is unanimous. The motion carries.
Madam President, I'd like a motion, please, to consider hiring Carla Yenko-Khan for the position of front desk receptionist, hall coordinator, at the annual salary of $40,000, effective October 28th, 2024.
So moved. Second.
Having been moved and properly seconded, can we proceed with our roll call vote?
Madam President,
Yes.
Vice President Roquel,
Yes.
Councilor Beatty,
Yes.
Councilor Trent,
Yes.
Councilor Pete,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson.
Yes.
That vote is unanimous. The motion carries. Next.
I'd like a motion to consider the hiring of Mr. Nicholas Zizza to the position of Public Works employee effective October 28th, 2024 at a starting rate commensurate with the 32 BJ collective bargaining agreement pending a completed background investigation.
So moved.
Thank you.
Seconded.
Having been moved and seconded, can we proceed with the roll call vote?
President Monroe,
Yes.
Vice President Roquel,
Yes.
Councilor Beatty,
Yes.
Councilor Trent,
Yes.
Councilor Pete,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson.
Yes.
That vote is unanimous. The motion carries.
Okay. I'm not gonna amend that one. Let's see, Madam President, I'm going to read the motion as written, but I'm going to ask for an amendment to a motion to amend it. So it's written as a consideration to approve the revised Yeadon Borough Employee Handbook. I'd like, though, a motion to amend it to consideration to authorize me as the borough manager to amend the employee handbook effective January 1st, 2025.
Okay. So the first motion on the floor for consideration would be to amend item 8E as recommended by our borough manager. Is there a motion for that?
So moved.
Second.
Can we take a vote? Well, does everyone understand what we're voting on?
Yes.
All right. Can we take a vote, please?
President Monroe,
Yes.
Vice President Roquel,
Yes.
Councilor Beatty,
Yes.
Councilor Trent,
Yes.
Councilor Pete,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson.
Yes.
Can you? Okay. So now we're asking for consideration to authorize the borough manager to modify the borough handbook effective January 1st. Is it?
Second.
Having been moved and seconded on the question. Hearing.
I do have a question. So it's to modify the handbook, and you said effective January 1st,
Of 2025.
but the modifications will go into effect.
Yes.
Right, not him modifying by January.
Okay. Yes.
Right. Okay. All right. I just wanted to make that clear.
All right. Can we proceed with our vote?
President Monroe,
Yes.
Vice President Roquel,
Yes.
Councilor Beatty,
Yes.
Councilor Trent,
Yes.
Councilor Peets,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you.
That vote, I believe, is unanimous. And that motion carried.
Madam President, I'd like a motion to seek a resolution to amend the Borough Code Chapter 150, Title Fee Schedule, and Article 6, Title Permits and Other Fees.
So moved.
Seconded.
Having been moved and seconded on the question. Hearing none, can we proceed with our roll call vote?
President Monroe,
Yes.
Vice President Roquel,
Yes.
Councilor Beatty,
Yes.
Councilor Trent,
Yes.
Councilor Peets,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson.
Yes.
That vote is unanimous. The motion carries.
Madam President, I'd like a motion to enter into agreement with Passport Labs Inc. for parking enforcement and payment services effective January 1st, 2025.
Madam Chair, I'd like to put a motion on the floor for consideration to enter into an agreement with Passport Labs, Inc. for parking enforcement and payment services effective January 1st, 2025.
Second.
Having been moved and properly seconded on the question.
Madam Chair.
Madam Vice President.
Can I just ask for a brief summary
Oh, yeah.
of the services?
Yeah, so we've been in talks for quite a few months in conjunction with the police department in hopes to modernize our parking enforcement. You're all familiar with the yellow envelopes. We have a relatively low collection rate from citations issued by the yellow envelope. And the quarter system is now outdated. Using quarters for parking and at the current rates that we have is labor intensive. So we're looking to just modify it and modernize it. Where there are currently meters, it will be the kiosks. So you would park by a zone and you would pay on your app. So we're looking to also reduce the need for dropping off these yellow envelopes, and one of the fantastic things about it is we get the payments in real time, and we're able to see the collection and everything in real time. It's a modernized approach, and we were able to do a few demos. The chief really likes it, and the enforcement will be a lot quicker. Also, our enforcement team, when they're out in the field, they'll be able to see in real time who's boot eligible in real time without having to come back. So now that we have the boot and tow ordinance, I think that process will be a lot quicker.
Madam President. Okay. Sorry. So just so I'm clear, so if a person was to get a ticket at a parking enforcement officer, the individual receiving a ticket will actually be able to go to a kiosk and pay?
Yeah, they'll be able to scan the QR right on their on the ticket itself, or even just log in or do it with the app. So this is the same vendor that's in media, Up Derby, where you're paying by a zone. So yes, let's say you get a parking ticket, you could go in, sit in your car right then and there, pay it. Right in the app. Yeah.
Okay, so there won't be a need to even come to the police department anymore
Right.
to pay. Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay. What is the fee for Passport Labs Incorporated?
There is a monthly. There are some monthly fees in that packet that you have there. The monthly.
There's a separate page at the
Yes,
end, but it seems like the low collection rate means that our current parking system is costing us, and that having a more efficient means of collecting, that the collection rate will offset the cost of the services rendered.
Okay. Thank you.
Real quick, my question had more to do with not necessarily paying to park. If you get a citation, can you go on the website and pay?
Yep.
The fine?
And we'll
Because
have that
some
link
people don't
tied to our borough website as well.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. Thank you.
Great question. And Chief loves it too.
Yeah, in regards to the system, what about off-street parking where, they violate, no parking, this time frame?
So off-street parking. So one thing that the officers in the field would be able to do is just type the license plate, and they'll be able to see, a lot of data tied to citation history. But as far as off-street non-meter spaces, there's no active regulation for that. Does that make sense? So off-street, if somebody's parking on a street that they're allowed to park on, we're not enforcing any citation.
Now, the fees
That
going to
was
be
your question.
changed, or?
Yes, good question. So we actually have the lowest meter fees in Eastern Delaware County. So my recommendation in November will be to consider revising the parking per hour fees. Yes.
And what about the payment? Like currently, an individual off-street parking ticket has like 48 hours to pay a reduced fee. Is that going to be changed in some respect?
Chief, I think we were, and this is going to be on next month's agenda, but I think the game plan is to look at what we call an escalation. So to look at the time frame that we're not really discounting it if you pay it early, but we're just not increasing it if you don't extend that period of that initial period.
So this right here is a recommendation for the system. The fee structure, that's a separate conversation and a separate matter that'll have to be voted on by council. So that's not within this motion. So we want to make sure that we're speaking within what's within this motion.
And we will have a full conversation next caucus about the fee.
Because right now, what's being asked for here is not predicated upon us being able to increase fees. Okay. Any more questions? Hearing none, can we take a roll call vote, please?
Who moved it? I'm sorry. I didn't hear who moved it.
I believe it was me. Yeah.
Okay. And second, sorry. Thank you. Madam President?
Yes.
Vice President Roquelout?
Yes.
Councilor Beatty?
Yes.
Councilor Trent?
Yes.
Councilor Peets?
Yes.
Councilor Johnson?
Yes.
That vote is unanimous. The motion carries.
All right. Let's see where are we? Madam President, I'd like a motion to consider the advertisement of ordinance number 2024-008, amending ordinance 285-29, sale of vehicles on streets or public parking lots.
So moved.
Seconded.
Having been moved and properly seconded on the question. Hearing none, can we proceed with the roll call vote?
President Monroe?
Yes.
Vice President Roquelout?
Yes.
Councilor Beatty?
Yes.
Councilor Trent?
Yes.
Councilor Peets?
Yes.
Councilor Johnson?
Yes.
That vote is unanimous. The motion carries.
Madam President, I'd like a motion to consider the adoption of ordinance number 2024-007, amending ordinance 285-34, parking of commercial, heavy, and recreational vehicles prohibited on certain streets.
So moved.
Seconded.
Having been moved and properly seconded on the question,
Question.
Mr. Trent?
As far as the part where it says on certain streets, I think with the current ordinance, basically it's like every street in the borough.
Yeah, the current ordinance lists out the streets by name, all of them.
So certain streets, in a sense, could be just in the borough.
I don't know if I know what you're asking. I'm sorry.
I think that Councilor Trent is implying that every street in the borough is listed. I'm not certain that every street in the borough is listed, but we will say that every street that is listed will be prohibited parking. There may be one, maybe something like on Industrial Drive or somewhere around there where it may be permitted. So we don't want to just assume that every single street in the borough has been named. So we're kind of going with the positive versus just what we left out. So we don't.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise it's just up in the air. What's a certain street?
Allen Drive is on there. So.
Thanks.
I made sure that one was on there for you. We even put it first. President Monroe?
Yes.
Vice President Roquelout?
Yes.
Councilor Beatty?
Yes.
Councilor Trent?
Yes.
Councilor Peets?
Yes.
Councilor Johnson?
Yes.
That vote is unanimous. The motion carries.
One more, Madam President. I'd like a motion to approve Resolution 2024-009, authorizing borough managers to be the borough's designee to sign for all closing paperwork involved in the Zero Church Lane Myra parking lot sale.
So moved.
Seconded.
Having been moved and properly seconded, this is a real estate matter, so we won't be entertaining any questions. We'll move to our roll call vote.
President Morrell?
Yes.
Vice President Roquel?
Yes.
Council Beatty?
Yes.
Council Trent?
Yes.
Council Pete?
Yes.
Council Johnson?
Yes.
That vote is unanimous. The motion carries.
That ends my report, Madam President.
Thank you. I love getting the borough business done. And it looks like we've made some very good decisions here. Thank you for your work. We will move on to our solicitor's report.
Thank you very much, Madam President. First, I did want to bring to the public's attention the council met in executive session at 6:30 to discuss litigation and personnel matters. On the agenda this evening is a consideration to authorize our office to file an equity action in the Delaware County Court of Common Pleas for failure to abide by our borough ordinances and codes for the property located at 1000 Bullock Avenue.
Should we
Go back.
no, address? It's 1007.
Bullock Avenue?
Yes.
Oh, that's it, huh?
Yes.
Okay, I apologize.
So it would be the one at 1007.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Having been moved and properly seconded, do you want to give a brief?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Our code department through the years has been citing this property, trying to bring them into compliance. This council has been very aggressive in trying to bring properties up to code within the borough. And in fact, in a couple other cases, has authorized our office to file in the Court of Common Pleas immediate and has been successful, at least in moving some things forward. And so this has been a tactic we're trying to do with some landlords who are not compliant. So this is, again, council's action of being very proactive in bringing property code enforcement up.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, can we proceed with our roll call vote?
President Morrell?
Yes.
Vice President Roquel?
Yes.
Council Beatty?
Yes.
Council Trent?
Yes.
Council Pete?
Yes.
Council Johnson?
Yes.
That vote is unanimous. The motion carries.
That concludes my report. Unless the council has any questions.
All right, I think we're good. Thank you. Next up, do we have our tax collector's report?
No.
Okay. Next up, we have our engineer's report.
Thank you, Madam President. Two items for consideration tonight. First is to award the demolition at 1219 Long Acre to BRB contractors in the amount of $55,000, contingent upon the county's approval, since this is using county demolition funds.
So moved.
Seconded.
Having been moved and properly seconded on the question. Hearing none, can we proceed with our roll call vote?
President Morrell?
Yes.
Vice President Roquel?
Yes.
Councilor Beatty?
Yes.
Council Trent?
Yes.
Council Pete?
Yes.
Council Johnson?
Yes.
And the second one, we don't need a resolution.
Vote is unanimous. The
sorry.
motion carries.
I'm sorry. The second one is consideration to approve our office to submit to PennDOT a multimodal transportation fund application for Church and Myra intersection improvements. There's no resolution needed for this grant application.
So moved.
Seconded.
Having been moved and properly seconded on the question. I just wanted to add in that I know we spoke to Megan last week, but Church and Myra there's that lot. So just
Yes.
make sure that we're including that lot
Yes.
that we can modify with those changes. Okay. Let's
President Morrell? President Morrell?
Yes.
Vice President Roquel?
Yes.
Council Beatty?
Yes.
Council Trent?
Yes.
Council Pete?
Yes.
Council Johnson?
Yes.
That vote is unanimous. The motion carries.
And then just two items to bring council up to date on. The community park reconstruction meeting was held on the 16th of October. The project will start on the 28th of October. And the road program is underway along Yeadon Avenue. All the aprons have been placed, and the paving will be done on the 28th and 29th. And you can see the parking lot is also under construction here at the Borough Hall. And that concludes my report. Unless there are
you.
any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is our finance.
Madam President, you most certainly can read my motions as I have to read the budget. Save my breath.
All right, thank you. Up for consideration is the accounts payable list for October 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Having been moved and properly seconded on the question? Hearing none, can we proceed with our roll call vote?
President Monroe,
Yes.
Vice President Roquel,
Yes.
Councilor Beatty,
Yes.
Councilor Trent,
Yes.
Councilor Peets,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson,
Yes.
That vote is unanimous. The motion carries. Next up for consideration is the accounts payable list addition. Let's try again. That's the accounts payable addition list for October 2024.
So moved.
Seconded.
Having been moved and properly seconded on the question? Hearing none, let's proceed with our roll call vote.
President Monroe,
Yes.
Vice President Roquel,
Yes.
Councilor Beatty,
Yes.
Councilor Trent,
Yes.
Councilor Peets,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson,
Yes.
That vote is unanimous. The motion carries. Next up for consideration is the September cash balance report.
So moved.
Seconded.
Having been moved and properly seconded on the question? Hearing none, can we proceed with our roll call vote?
President Monroe,
Yeah.
Vice President Roquel,
Yes.
Councilor Beatty,
Yes.
Councilor Trent,
Yes.
Councilor Peets,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson,
Yes.
That vote is unanimous. The motion carries. Next up for consideration is to add Rafi Cave and Nafis J. Nichols as signers on all borough bank accounts with WSFS Bank effective immediately.
So moved. Second.
Having been moved and properly seconded on the question? How are you all not signers on our account?
So I am a signer on this account, but we need a second signer on the account because the next motion you'll see all these other folks are still on the account.
Okay.
And we really can't do anything without two signers.
Okay. All right. All right, can we proceed with our roll call vote?
President Monroe,
Yes.
Vice President Roquel,
Yes.
Councilor Beatty,
Yes.
Councilor Trent,
Yes.
Councilor Peets,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson,
Yes.
That vote is unanimous. The motion carries. Next up for consideration is to remove Sharon O. Council Harris, Lawrence W. Healy, Joseph P. Placenti Jr., and Nelva V. Wright from all Yeadon Borough bank accounts with WSFS effective immediately.
So moved.
Seconded.
Having been moved and properly seconded on the question? Hearing none, let's proceed with our roll call vote.
President Monroe,
Yes.
Vice President Roquel,
Yes.
Councilor Beatty,
Yes.
Councilor Trent,
Yes.
Councilor Peets,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson,
Yes.
That vote is unanimous. The motion carries.
All right, so good evening, Madam President, Council, and Yeadon Borough residents. This evening, I will be presenting the 2025 preliminary budget. As you all know, to initiate the process, we read it into the record. Council, at their desire, votes on the preliminary budget. We have sessions in between, and the tentative date for us to approve the final budget will be at the November legislative session. This budget does take into account a 1.25 mil increase in order for us to balance it. However, that could change between now and, the final adoption, depending on how numbers come in. Right now, we have information as it pertains to our health insurance, which is an increase of 6.5% over our current rates. Another trend in health insurance that we've seen as we were preparing the budget is we now have more employees who have family plans versus single plans. So that was also an increase as it relates to our health insurance. As it pertains to our property and casualty insurance and general liability insurances, we all know that we've had some history there with lawsuits, and the rates, of course, are still being, affected today. We don't have final rates. These are preliminary rates as we're doing our renewals. There may be a possibility, hopefully, that, the rates won't be as drastic as we budgeted here. But we have to keep in mind the policy that we have in place. We have a very high deductible
So we had to also account for claims that were over the deductible because we are responsible for the first $100,000 with the current plan that we have, unfortunately. So that also is in this budget. Just wanted to make those notes before I read off the numbers. So the total amount for revenues in the general fund for 2025 in the preliminary budget for taxes, which includes all real estate, current and delinquent, and Act 511 taxes, which includes our earned income tax, local services tax, $7,887,238. Our licenses and permits, $421,900. Franchise revenues, $167,500. Fines and forfeitures, $177,050. Interest, rents, and royalties, $81,354. Intergovernmental revenues, which includes grants, $596,850. Charges for services, $51,147. Contributions, donations, and miscellaneous revenues, $36,000. And other revenues, $365,264. For a total general fund revenue source of $9,784,303. Our total general fund expenditures proposed for 2025, the legislative body, $96,140. Administration, $716,801. Financial administration, $261,463. Tax collection, $35,227. Legal services and engineer services, minus grants that we give for our engineer, $206,500. Insurance, bonding, borough facilities, $1,052,497. Police, $4,688,289. Fire, $171,950. Code enforcement, $528,292. Emergency management, $2,500. Highway maintenance, general services, that's public works, $1,086,971. Recreation, youth development, parks, and special events, $92,168. Library, $527,980. Debt service, $260,274. Planning, zoning, urban development, and miscellaneous expenses, $32,250. Total departmental expenditures, $9,759,303. And total general fund operating transfers of $25,000 for a total imbalanced budget of $9,784,303. Almost done. Our refuge fund for 2025, right now we don't have an increase for our refuge fund. For our trash fee for residents, $1,228,025. Expenditures, $1,228,025. Our sewer fund revenues, $2,915,137. The expenditures are equal to the $2,915,137. Our motor license fund, $308,186 for revenues. For expenditures, $308,186. Our vehicle replacement fund, $133,038. The expenditures are equal to $133,038. And finally, our capital improvement budget for 2025 is $130,000.
A lot of numbers. All right. Now, up for consideration is the approval of the 2025 preliminary budget that has just been read extensively.
So moved.
Second.
Having been moved and properly seconded on the question, I'd like to ask a question. Can you let us know how we kind of fared staying within our allotted budget compared to previous years, and what may have been the cause of some of our potential recommended increases? Please. Only if you want us to vote and go home.
Compared to last year's budget, this is about an $800,000 increase. Again, what we have to take into consideration is we have two collective bargaining agreements in place. This year, 2025, our police officers will be receiving a 3.5% increase. Our public works contract calls for a 3.25% increase. There are positions in the police department that, with the longevity also increase this year. It comes with years of service, it's contractual. The health insurance was a major component for us, the borough, this year. Again, we had a lot of people got married and had children over the last year. So we now, instead of having some single plans, we have more family plans. The difference in the police and public works have a PPO plan. So for a family, that plan for 2025 is $4,038 per month. Whereas in 2024, it was like $3,200 per month. So there lies a big difference. Again, the property and casualty insurance, workers' comp insurance, and all those things, it's about $200,000 difference from the current budget that we're in now. And then we were more realistic based off of, things that happened in 2024 as it relates to permits, fees. We don't have a DCO right now, so we have to pay for an architect to come in. The revenues that we receive, we split with them 50%. So we had to account for that just in case that is the case in 2025. That could change. The other thing we had an increase in that was significant. Transportation, technology. There's some things that we have to do to get the borough up to code. Also, we have to do a roof replacement over the borough hall, and the AC unit has to be replaced because right now it hasn't worked for 2 years. So that's in this budget as well. And just some infrastructure things that need to be done around the town.
Okay.
We can always borrow money. Our debt service is very low. I just want to put that out there for the record. We only have debt service of $260,000 a year right now outside of our Pinvest loan. Every year there's a report that we have to do for Pinvest and to Delval, who hold our 2010 bonds. They do this thing where they talk about our borrowing capacity based off of our budget, our revenues, and what's happening in town. So I won't say it publicly, but we have a significant borrowing capacity to do some things. There are a lot of things that need to be done. And again, this year, going back to the insurance, because of that high deductible, we had a significant amount of claims that the general fund had to cover. So we have to plan for that for 2025 as well, not knowing what our insurance carrier is going to do.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else have any questions? All right.
I actually have a question. I don't know if it's going back to like the tax collector. It's just not sitting well with me when we don't have a report from the tax collector. And I
So
feel
in the middle of this motion,
okay.
we
All
can
right.
you can have the floor after we.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Roll call.
Yes, please.
President Monroe,
Yes.
Vice President Roquelaut,
Yes.
Councilor Beatty,
Yes.
Councilor Trent,
Yes.
Councilor Peets,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson.
Yes.
That vote is unanimous. The motion carries. The next is consideration for the advertisement of the 2025 preliminary budget and the 2025 budget hearing.
So moved.
Seconded.
Having been moved and properly seconded on the question. Hearing none, can we proceed with our vote?
President Monroe,
Yes.
Vice President Roquelaut,
Yes.
Councilor Beatty,
Yes.
Councilor Trent,
Yes.
Councilor Peets,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson.
Yes.
That vote is unanimous. The motion carries. The hearing
I'm sorry.
is the hearing for now?
No.
Okay. Okay. All right. Councilor Roquelaut.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's just not sitting well with me because you have to take those numbers into account to even, come up with these numbers, correct?
Correct.
So if we don't have that information, then how accurate can you be? You understand what I'm saying?
So one thing that I do, because you're right, the reports that are made public by the tax collector sometimes are off late, whatever. I walked to her office to ask her, like, I need a detailed a year to date. So that's what I did in order to do the budget. And she did print me out a detailed year to date. However, going back to something Mr. Trent said before, it doesn't align. So there needs to be some sort of reconciliation in the tax office so that it can align. But I did get a actual year to date that I can tell you doesn't necessarily match the reports that are here public.
Right.
But when I look at the bank account, it aligns. But without disclosing too much, and Mr. Solicitor tell me to shut up if I'm disclosing too much information. Like right now, I can tell you, the borough has too much money in its tax account because it's not reconciled, and we need to know, does that go to our general fund? What amount goes to your sewer fund? What amount goes to your refuge fund? So the tax collector is still working on posting. She said, I'm waiting on that. Could we get into a crunch? We could. And then I don't know where to transfer money to, but I can't transfer money until the tax collector provides a report.
And additionally, these budgets are mostly created off of historical.
They are, yes. We look at the last 3 years.
So what can we do to try to ensure moving forward that we receive these tax reports in a timely fashion? Because people want to know what's happening. So what can we do, if anything at all? Because to come here, and it's not our fault, I know that, but to say in public, we don't have a tax report.
So I did check with a solicitor.
Okay.
There isn't a legal requirement to have a tax report at a meeting like this. So we are not like out of compliance by not having it. I too wish that we were able to have one present and available. But again, the tax collector's office is a political appointment, so we also don't have any jurisdiction over the work that they do. Mr. Nichols has in place a treasurer as well that oversees I just want to make sure I was being accurate, that oversees the information, because we have had some difficulties in maintaining the accuracy. So we do have backup. Okay. We may not have a report, but we can access accurate information.
Okay. Thank you.
Not sure if I should ask this question. This might be off the record.
So would you like to go into an executive session?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, you want to wait until next?
This is all right. So I'm gonna try to word this delicately. Is there any way in the future we could consider making the tax collector position a paid employee position as opposed to an elected official position? I know that would be an ordinance, something we possibly could change because
So we'll stop there because we know why.
Because you know why. So I wonder if we can explore. I think it's something we should consider in the future.
Are there any other municipalities that have this office that is not an elected position that you may be aware of?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't want to opine off the top of my head on exactly the mechanism of possibly doing that. But just give me a minute. I'll get.
I'm not looking for
exactly.
Right today.
But yes. Because I was just wondering if it's something that of course, as a body, we would have to make that decision, but yes, could be something we can explore in the future.
My understanding prior to my arrival is that one of the front desk ladies in the past years assisted the tax collector.
Yes.
That's something that council, of course, could direct. In fact, I can't say names, right? Personnel names? No. Right. We had someone at the front desk years ago, from what I was told, that during just the borough tax collection season at the school districts, that would assist the tax collector with collecting and posting. My concern there is that whoever is collecting and posting should be bonded.
Right.
You know, if you're doing that, so we just have to be mindful if we want to hire a part-time person to do it, that we will have to have them bonded as well.
So this isn't, of course, the first time that we had reservations about the accuracy and the work of the tax collector's office, and which is why we had someone else looking. So again, I do want to assure my colleagues and the public that, you know, we may not have an actual report in front of us, but we do have oversight of the tax office.
That's good.
Okay.
And the money.
It definitely, well, we have a finance director. And then, I mean, and again, Mr. Nichols, if there were issues that were to come up, would they be revealed in our audits? Because what I hear is that we have very clean audits.
Mm-hmm.
So even, you know, before we get to that annual audit, you know, we have oversight of the office to ensure that things are being done properly. And when issues come up, I can guarantee you the tax collector does not solve them on their own.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Next up, we don't have anything under ordinance and zoning. Give no further motions.
Good evening. I have one quick update from my October 10th Council Caucus meeting report. We've had some influx of questioning and confusion from residents in reference to our abandoned vehicle ordinance. And I just wanted to provide a reminder to all, Yeadon residents that all of our borough ordinances are available online on our Yeadon Borough website. Under the subsection government, you can see the codes and ordinances link that will take you to E-Code 360. Our abandoned vehicle ordinance can be found in our property maintenance and housing standards chapter. That's chapter 220, subsection 63, abandoned vehicles. I would also implore residents to look at chapter 220, subsection 66, enforcement actions, as well as chapter 220, subsection 70, abatement, impounding, and violations. And that would conclude my update.
All right. And where are we with our fall newsletter? We close? Okay. Because we also include like a highlight of some of our different ordinances in our newsletters as well. Maybe that could be one, since you're getting multiple questions about it. Okay. All right. Problem solutions. I like it. Public Works. Good evening.
My report is as stands as last week. Just a reminder of our leaf season has begun this week. When you're desired, sweeper day. We have a e-waste event the 25th of October, which is the day before our trunk or treat on Saturday, October 26th. Please, everybody, come out and enjoy yourselves. Like Joe mentioned earlier, the road program has started and our new parking lot is underway. Other than that, anybody have any other questions?
You sent I'm sorry. Sorry. You sent an email about Yeadon Avenue. What section of Yeadon Avenue is this?
Was that this evening's?
Yeah.
Okay, that was an emergency, a sewer problem that we had.
Okay.
It was a 600 block of Yeadon Avenue between Cedar and Redwood, and it has been completed and resolved.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's my report.
All right. And public safety.
Good evening, Madam President and Borough Council.
Good evening.
My reports will stand as read last meeting, but I would ask you to respectfully consideration to approve the grant application for the local share account grant on behalf of the Yeadon Borough Police Department.
Madam Chair, may I put a consideration on, or a motion on the floor for consideration to approve the grant application for the local share account grant on behalf of the Yeadon Police Department, Yeadon Borough Police Department?
So moved.
Having been moved and properly seconded on the question, do you want to give us a very brief overview
Yes.
of what the...
It's going to be, we're requesting approximately $200,000 from the gaming grant fund to purchase 4 brand new vehicles that won't cost the borough any money.
Okay, I like that. Can we proceed with our roll call vote?
Madam President,
Yes.
Vice President Roquelot,
Yes.
Councilor Beatty,
Yes.
Councilor Trent,
Yes.
Councilor Pete,
Yes.
Councilor Johnson.
Yes.
All right, their vote is unanimous. The motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, so Chief, I'm not going to let you off that easily. So earlier in our meeting, and it appears that people who were present were just disruptors because they said what they said and they left without witnessing the conclusion of the business of the borough. Can you give us any information about how complaints with your department are handled?
Once the complaints are actually handed in from the citizens, you can apply. You can get the application online, or actually come in. They'll hand in the actual complaint form, and then we take it, and then we'll actually investigate the complaint. So, if the complaint is on an officer, myself and a lieutenant will look at all the evidence. We will call the officers in and interview the officers. And if someone complains, we'll actually reach out to them to have them come in and give their side of the story. If they have any evidence, that's germane to the complaint, we'll review all that.
Okay. Have there been any complaints of the nature that were purported earlier this evening?
Yes, there has. And I'll disclose what I can because it's still ongoing complaint. We have reached out to the individual that complained via email and actually with a phone call, and we still have not received any word of this individual coming in to substantiate any of the complaints. And we have reviewed the body cam footage, and once that's all done, I will present it to council exactly what we found. So,
how many of our officers wear body cam?
Everyone, it's mandatory. You have to wear your body cam and you have to be recording constantly.
So if there were something extremely egregious and threatening that you thought an officer may have done and was witnessed on body cam, would that officer be on the street right now?
No, they would not.
Do we have any officers who are not on the street right now?
No, we do not.
Thank you. That concludes my question. Okay. You may leave the stage.
Okay, thank you. Except for Officer Rowland, he's not on the street, so.
Oh, he's trying to just get us. Yeah. I know that.
Any other questions?
No, that's all of my questions. Thank you. Thank you for your service.
No emergency.
Yeah, right. Don't go.
Oh yeah, put your other hat on.
My report stands as read last meeting.
All right, and where are you going tomorrow?
I'm shipping off to Boston to the International Chiefs of Police Convention. So but Lieutenant Burns is there. Both of my phones, my email. So, okay. But I will be back I fly back in on Tuesday, and I was asked to go to a public meeting. So I will be at a public meeting Tuesday, leaving the airport, going to the public meeting Tuesday at the library.
Good job.
So I won't be dressed as nice, so I'll probably just have maybe a Boston Bruins jersey on. So
I'm going to recommend you wear your body cam.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Thank you. Next up, we have recreation.
So while Mr. Hunter is coming, I just want to remind everybody, obviously, about the 9th of November. So we have a very special lady that's going to be honored, Miss Alma Bailey, who is going to get a proclamation from the county at our event. Retired Colonel Arthur Jenkins of Delaware County, works in media. He's the Director of Military and Veterans Affairs, is going to present Alma Bailey. And for those of you who don't know, she is a resident of Yeadon who was one of the she was part of the nurse corps for the Tuskegee Airmen. This woman is 99 years old. So her caregiver and Brother Brock, some of you know him, said that she will be there to receive her accolades. I think that is well warranted. And I told them if she's not able to physically make it, we're going to still present her with this stuff. We also have Justin Cohen, who is the chaplain for the Delaware County veterans. He's going to give the invocation for the event. I wanted to also, it was brought to my attention, and I probably should have done this already, all of our police and fire people, I would like to see those who are available to come out as well, because we appreciate you all. And anyone who wants to come, you're invited. I mean, I'm not going to tell you can't come, but please come out November 9th. What time does things start? Oh, 11 a.m. I should know the time. It's not. So please come out, and we'll keep you posted on anything else coming up for the year of 2024. Thank you.
So this is a registration event, right?
Just come, y'all. I mean, we got enough food for everybody. Just come.
Okay.
Come on.
Our finance director is cringing.
All the 12,000 people in Yeadon Borough. Yeah, so, yeah, I think you should let us know if you do plan on coming, please. Just let us know. All right, Mr. Hunter.
Okay, the recreation report stands as submitted last week, but as usual, there's a few small white potatoes in the kitchen, and there's some corn on the second floor. Remind you, if you see a few bugs on the corn, it means it's organic, so no pesticides were used.
Oh, is that what?
Right, that's what it means, right? So you might see a little things crawling around, but you're gonna boil it anyway. So that's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Without further ado, can I entertain a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you so much. This meeting is adjourned.
Awesome.